do want to take this opportunity of expressing my thanks and sincere gratitude to Mr. Frank Capra, the director of It Happened One Night, and Miss Claudette Colbert, who was gracious enough to co-star with me.
Exclusive. I think I am, because I have very few friends, but not to be exclusive. It's just that I like people, but for friends, I like few people.
My dad was a doctor, yes. I was born in New York City, bed number 21, Sloan's Maternity Hospital, I think. And I lived up on 103rd Street and West End Avenue.
Undine is a very beautiful love story in which Mel Ferrer and I appear together. Mel plays the knight errant, and I play a water sprite.
That you've gone through this whole thing and you've never been at the bottom of the list. What is there? You've red apple in the old man, or what's the idea? And I said, I don't know, and I didn't know.
I would love to do something on the stage, just because I don't want to quit until I've tried. I'll probably fall flat on my face, but I've got to at least try once. I don't know when.
And words seem so futile, so feeble. I can only say that thank you for the honor.
I can't wait. I want her to have a baby immediately, and then she can see the baby for only 25 minutes, and I'll be a babysitter.
I was just pausing because it's an odd thing. The night of the award was the anniversary of my mom passing away, so it's been kind of a lot of mixed feelings, and
The thrill of this moment keeps me from saying what I really feel. I can only say thank you with all my heart to all who made this possible for me. Thank you.
I realize it's conventional and usual to praise one's fellow workers on these occasions, but why not? Ours is a collaborative medium. We all need each other.
Because we did that, a very, very long time ago.
Yeah.
And I think that is a strange situation because women and men simply are not the same.
No, it is brought to light what any thinking American must realize, and that is that politics in our country are not, shall we say, the most beautiful part of our American life.
I mean, I was so moved and so taken by Open City. There was nothing like it in Hollywood in those days.
What quality of
the realistic quality, that it looked real. Everything was in the street. Everything was in a real house. And the actors, they had actors, but they didn't look like actors.
Approved of my work and said so. And I want to thank my family, my good close friends, who have lent me inspiration and moral support and affection. Thank you very much.
Bill's in love with Margot Channing. He's fought with her, worked with her, and loved her. But 10 years from now, Margot Channing will have ceased to exist. And what's left will be what?
The little girl I worked with most recently in the past few years, and she was in all the specials that I did with Barry Chase. And Barry is just a fantastic talent. She's a very artistic gal, and she's very sensitive and very...
If I were to mention all those who've shown me such wonderful generosity through Gone with the Wind, I should have to entertain you with an oration as long as Gone with the Wind itself.
He went ahead, whether others agreed with him or not, with his integrity as his only banner. He served nothing and no one.
They had never been in England, and this morning we took a tour, a few hours, and went around, saw the Tower of London and so forth, and then we went out to the studio. I had to rehearse this afternoon.
I don't think that horror films or horror comics contribute to juvenile delinquency. I think that they may encourage psychotics and homicidal and other dangerous types.
In order to build a camp for the entire company.
Right.
And we all lived in these huts that were made out of bamboo and palm leaves, with Mother Earth for the floor, and it was fascinating.
The fence has brought to Hillsborough a great expense and great inconvenience. 6 noted scientists. Their testimony is basic to the defense of my client.
Well, first of all, I'm stage struck, and I think they all know that. Secondly, I try to get a film that has audience identification.
Most of them loved it. Bosley Crowther, the New York Times, sort of put it down, but most of them were crazy about it. And he just sort of dismissed it with less than faint praise. That's the only one I can remember that didn't.
Well, it really is the first we did. We didn't have one at all, you know. We were working when we were married and didn't get away. And then we wanted to come to England in 1939 on a honeymoon, but the war stopped us, and Bob went in the Navy, and that was the end of that.
Oui, j'ai tourné Ulysse en Italie, mais avant ça, comme vous vous souvenez, j'ai fait un film ici à Paris, L'Acte d'amour avec Bergman.
Give me a whiskey, ginger ale on the side, and don't be stingy, baby.
The whole history of the world is the story of the struggle between the selfish and the unselfish. All that's bad around us is bred by selfishness. Sometimes selfishness can even get to be a cause, an organized force, even a government.
I'm just an immoral character, kicked off a train for conduct unbecoming to a lady, consorting in a vulgar way with the troops and stealing one white orchid.
And I was working at Lockheed. Jim Doherty was my partner, and he had a picture of his bride. And she was very shy and very pleasant, very sweet, but...
I've told you 1,000,000 times not to talk to me when I'm doing my lashes.
And we are therefore forever indebted to those Americans represented by the March on Washington movement for giving us so stunning an example of what America aspires to become.
Oh, he's dying to see me, even if it's just for a minute. Of course I won't, definitely not. And yet I don't like to be rude to him. I think it's a mistake to ignore people who admire one and who, after all, buy the tickets.
What I think I can do without drying up. There's one sonnet of Shakespeare which is very much my favorite, and it goes, "Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediment."
Well, we should get together more than we do, in that we both have houses in the south of Spain. But, I don't know, we pass like ships in the night.
The first thing she taught me was that wearing patches, which I did almost always, because she made my clothing from the sacks of flour.
I loved the book. I thought the book was fantastic. I know Brooke. She's a friend of mine, and I think she did a really phenomenal job of writing the book. And it certainly intrigued me, the whole idea.
Well, if the critics said that, you know, it's a kind word in a hard, cruel world.
Well, I'm caught between two evils. I generally like to take the one I never tried.
Because no one knows what they're doing. Half the time, you don't know what this guy's going to do with that one. On a track, there are a lot of men who spend a lot of time developing rules.
We were taught that you are nobody and you just better work hard and make good, because your troubles are not important.
We, the unwilling, led by the unknowing, are doing the impossible for the ungrateful. We have done so much for so long with so little. We are now qualified to do anything with nothing.
That's what you don't get at home. That's what you've been missing, isn't it? It's so tiresome being restrained and soft-spoken and gentlemanly. When what you really want is to be a little rotten like me.
So one day, they decided to play a trick on him. They poured out the whole contents of the thermos and poured in all orange juice. And when he came and he took a sip, he made a terrible face and he said, "Who put orange juice in my orange juice?"
I think a kind of balance. I've had some very marvelous times, and therefore I have to have the other one too, equally. I just don't want it all in the middle. I would hate to just travel in middle gear for the rest of my life.
Every time our country stands in the path of danger, an instinct seems to summon her finest first.
The other day I was on David Frost's show and they say, "How long have you been here?" And I said, "Would you believe 2 years?" And I've been here quietly watching TV and the city, and I love it all.
Loading the torpedo on the island of Guam, it snapped and hit 3 sailors, 2 other gentlemen and myself, killed one of us. And
so this is a nasty accident.
It was a nasty accident.
It's what you have inside that you can bring out.
You want to hear my
answer? It's the eyes, it's the gestures. What is it?
I must tell you something I find interesting. Pillow Talk was, I don't know, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. We almost didn't do it because it was too dirty.
When I left Fox, I went to MGM for one picture. Thank goodness, only one. And when I got there with my mother, we were separated. She went into the office of Louis B. Mayer, and I went into the office of Arthur Freed.
Oh, yes, this arrived in the 60s. I had an old leather jacket of which I was inordinately fond, and it was covered in Guinness and blood and, you know, the usual.
Go out and listen to the people. Don't go by the numbers, the ratings, and all that nonsense.
I really wanted to make a commercial when I discovered that I was that sick and my time was so limited.
All of the pictures that Ellen and I made together were good commercial pictures, but not my favorites.
I've been told, and I know people imitate it, but I don't try to do it, or I didn't break an ankle to get a funny look.
Perhaps a change of climate is just what I need. Does that mean you're asking me to marry you?
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Now, folks, if you'll just gather around a little closer now. Come right in a little closer. That's it. That's fine. That's fine, folks.
Do our part in supplying the urgent need for recreational facilities for the boys in camp
They must not be allowed to march away and be forgotten.